looks like I am live, which is pretty awesome. Testing this out here. We can make this an episode, The Hobby with Cage, episode 11. I am hoping that, some folks hop in here and we make this into sort of an impromptu Coffee with Cage, question and answers like we used to do. Folks were asking for it. I'm a little bored here on a Friday. I have an episode. Could have just posted that one, but I'm thinking about just seeing whether or not I have the technical chops to go live, which I think I figured out. I think I'm live now, and whether or not anybody actually hops in here and comes in and asks any questions. That would be pretty cool. It'd be nice if they do. So before folks come on and and ask some questions. Interesting stuff going on in the hobby. Lots of fun topics to talk about. I wouldn't be surprised if I got some questions about Collectible. It's a company that I have previously, had sponsorship from for the podcast. Got some interesting stuff going on there in the fractional space. There's Topps Series 2 release that just came out. All kinds of fun stuff on that. I mean, we the next time I do this, I should probably post somewhere. Oh, I'm going to do a live video on YouTube. Come and join, come and ask some questions, have some questions lined up, the whole deal. All right, I got one question here. All right. So the first question that I had was when I last did the stacks that I talked about in episode 7, where I talked about making 2 piles of cards, one where it's cards that you have to have, ones that, you can't live without. And then basically you're auditing your collection where, okay, these are the ones that you can sell, and then use that money, make a top 10 list, the cards that you want, the cards that you always wanted to have, and make that list. Yeah, I mean, DPZ, we need more people here. Sure, more people will come. I didn't tell anyone. You're the only person. You responded in the group. I was curious. It's sort of like an experiment, right? Like how many people come and chime in. Looks like we're increasing. The numbers don't look as bad as I thought they would look, actually. But let's get some questions. But the question that I had was, what was the last 2 cards that I moved off of my okay, nice to have pile, move them to sell so that I can actually use that money and see, here we go. And use that money and buy the cards on that top 10 list. The last one, it's actually for sale right now. It's on eBay. So you could probably find it. But it's a Skybox Rubies card. It's a Tim Duncan Skybox Rubies card. It's something I bought last year. I thought Tim Duncan was a little unappreciated, a little underappreciated, undervalued. But it didn't make a difference if you found somebody who was undervalued at the time. Almost everything that you bought last year is less now. That's just kind of the way that it is. So I probably will take a loss on that card. I even offered it up to a couple of Tim Duncan, fans, collectors that I know. And once I told them what I was into it for, they were kind of like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pay that. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna put it up for auction. You got any kind of offer on it, and nobody kind of went in on it. But that Skybox Rubies, that's a fun card. What's up, Alex? DPZ knows that I have a Griffey Ruby. As a matter of fact, I mean, I'll lose viewers if I go run, but I didn't do, you guys are live and I don't have a question yet. DPZ, Alex, you can ask a question, but I'm going to show you my mail day. I just got some cards. It'll be 12 seconds, 12 seconds. No. All right, so there we go. I got some cards. I can show off some cards while you guys are stop being shy and asking questions. So Skybox Rubies, you ready for this? Ready for this bad boy? What's up, Mervin Flores? How you doing? Check out that bad boy. That's a pretty nice one. That's a PSA 8, a Griffey Skybox Rubies. Kind of cool. There's 50 of these. This is number 49 of 50. Pretty good one. DPZ. So we got a question from Something Sports Cards. What can fanatics do to increase the minority presence in the hobby? I'm a 47-year-old minority. run a hobby shop, and was curious to know what your thoughts are on the subject. Okay, Mervin, a Jeter, that would be nice. What's up, Charles? I love the question. I will be 47 this year, so it's nice to see folks who probably came into the hobby in the 80s like I did are still here. Looks like you're running a hobby shop. So I would hope from your end that there are initiatives that hobby shops can do, right, from the ground up, and work with Fanatics. So Fanatics is going to be putting out cards, putting out putting out the product, but you are the first line right there at the hobby shop. And I think what I would do if I were you is I wouldn't be quiet about it. I mean, I'd be sending almost like suggestion box stuff, right? What is it that has worked for you to increase the minority presence in the hobby? What have you done in your own shop? And maybe they can scale that. Maybe they can do giveaways. Maybe they can do, what's up, Carlo and Charles? Maybe they can do, things to bring other, diverse folks into the hobby. I will tell you this. There are a lot of people focusing on it now, and people don't understand, diversity, it can mean a lot of things, right? And the hobby is definitely not diverse presently. In my day job, I actually have a course next week. It's a repeating course on the return on equity for diversity and inclusion. And basically what it says is that the workplace is better if you take into account people who come from different walks of life. And I think that applies to the hobby as well. I really do. There is a groundswell now where people are sending messages to the national that why are there no female athlete signers? And people are suggesting athletes that they would wait online, Mia Hamm, the women's national team, you name it. That kind of stuff matters. It really does. And what do I think Fanatics can do? Fanatics, I think, will do a good job of this. If you look at the hires that they have already, the people they brought in, it's a very diverse, staff that they have. Mike the God, we got alive. So, I mean, really what I would say is Fanatics is going to do what makes Fanatics money. What makes Fanatics money is keeping the hobby shops, the collectors, and everybody happy. So make some suggestions to them. I really think that is the way to do it. But yeah, I mean, I love the question, Something Sports Cards. I don't have all of the answers on that. I do agree that the hobby needs more diversity. There have been some great efforts to do it. I mean, I remember the Mint Collective, the first one that I went to, that RPS was there. Alex Jaimo was there. There was a focus on diversity at that show. Clearly the hobby is getting more diverse. Culture Collision, Prism God, that's a different kind of show as well. A great show. And yeah, I mean, listen, it's something we got to keep all at the fore. So let's see. I got another question. Charles Fuchs, you want to know what the best UFC card I ever owned was? Okay. This is going to be tough, right? Because best versus most valuable. I owned a lot of good UFC cards. And Mike the God, diversity be the number one way for the hobby grow. I agree with that entirely. You got to keep the kids in, but you have to expand it. You really do. And because now folks are commenting about it, from a shop standpoint, they aren't making it easy for shops to get product directly. When GTS lost Tops, we lost Tops products. Okay. What I would say is last year at the National, I saw a lot more women's groups, women of the hobby, a lot more focus on that. I hope that continues as well. I haven't seen anything beyond women of the hobby. I don't know whether or not there are any groups out there that are like hobby diversity groups, that are expanding that, progress that was made at the National last year. I would look to maybe, see if there's, I would support that. I could maybe even start it. I'm not exactly diverse, but I think it's definitely something that needs to be, taken into account. And yeah, UFC cards that I owned. So my favorite card was, there's a duel from round one, which is the first series of Top 2009, round one. There's a duel of Chris Lieben, who you guys have probably never heard of, and Anderson Silva. At the time that came out, Silva was the GOAT. I know it changes over time, but he was the best. He was the number one guy out there. And his first fight in the UFC was against Chris Lieben. Red hair, they call him the Crippler. And it was a dual relic, like it was supposed to be numbered to 25, out of 25. It was a piece of the mat of each one of them and their autographs. The most expensive card I've ever owned, I bought as a split with another fan. He's called the UFC Card Father. Take a look at his account. I sold almost all of my collection of UFC cards to him, stupidly. But the two of us, 50-50, owned the Dana White round one rookie 1 of 1. It was red, 1 of 1, the base rookie, Dana White's best card. We didn't own the Rogan. At the time, Rogan was like a nothing card, but we definitely owned that one. I own the Hoist Gracie, card number 1, 1 of 1. That was a pretty big card at the time. I owned a lot of, the John Jones autos, the Connor autos. I sold a Ronda Rousey finest rookie, her first auto, 1 of 1, red. I sold that for $20-something thousand before cards were even huge. So that was probably the biggest sale that I had. Something sports cards. If you do start one, if you do start a group that's beyond just women of the hobby, just, a diversity-led group, an Instagram page, a group you name, please include me. And I'll do whatever I can to kind of get it out there, post it, you name it. DPZ, will LeBron win it all this year? Do you think he makes his teammates better? Very funny. Very funny. He may win. I think right now he is, close to a favorite. I mean, I think Denver might be up there also. I mean, obviously there's only gonna be a couple teams left, but last week, when his team took the lead, and I think Denver and the Suns were 2-2, Vegas had him as the favorite to win. They had the Lakers as the favorite to win. It's interesting because LeBron, they may win. But I haven't seen him have like one of those killer, defining games, like Tatum had in the fourth quarter, as bad as he was in the first 3 quarters. They're winning, but it has been a team game. Now, I don't know if he's making Lonnie Walker better, if he's making Reeves better, if he's the one who's, making Rui Hachimura better, but there's definitely been an improvement in the role players on his team. I'll tell you that much. All right. I know you probably didn't actually want an answer. You wanted a giggle, but I love it. Truce Rock wants to know, I'm a big fan of yours. I appreciate that. What size shoe do you wear? So here's the shoe I'm wearing right now. I took it off for you. Pretty cool. It's a Mike Trout, a little Trout Nike camo. And if you can see the inside of that there, that's a US 15, size 15 right there. It's a pretty decent size. Truce Rock. That's my shoe size. Size shoe is 15. Yeah. It's a fun one. Not a lot of room to talk about, but you know what they say about, guys who wear big shoes. They have big feet. So how much of a premium percentage-wise do you place on a BGS quad 9.5 versus a regular 9.5 with a 9 subgrade? Carlo, it's a great question, right? It is a great question. And do I have some BGS cards here? I think I have 3 BGS cards here. I'm going to show them off. I'm going to show off one. This is a card. By the way, if you guys have cards in vaults, every once in a while, grab your cards. Just get your cards back. It's cool to hold them. I had never held this card before yesterday, and I love having it in hand. I love it. You ready? Look at this. It's only an 8.5 BGS, but, the chipping on these cards are a little nuts. But this is my Shaquille O'Neal PMG red. It's card number 53 of 100. There's 90 reds and 10 greens. But I bought this card a while ago, and I never actually owned it, never actually held it. Like it's vaulted. There's a little bit of a glare there, but you can see what I'm talking about. Pretty cool card. It's an 8.5, so it doesn't exactly answer your question, but I don't really have too much Beckett stuff, so I want to show off a Beckett card. I put a significant premium on a BGS quad 9.5 versus a regular 9.5 with a 9 subgrade, what we would call a min gem, Carlo. And I'll tell you why. I think that if you were to ask Beckett's graders, they talked about we're changing our, gem mint. We're going to have a 10. They came out with their whole announcement, but we're not changing our scale. I think if you were to ask Beckett what the hell that meant, what they would tell you is a 9.5 for them is a gem mint card. 9.5 is gem mint, right? 10 is pristine. 10 is like perfect, right? There are PSA 10s that are Beckett 10s. Very few, because if you have that perfect card, you're probably going to move it from a PSA 10 to a Beckett 10 anyway, just like Logan Paul did with his Charizard. But what they're saying here is a Beckett 9.5, quad 9.5 is a PSA 10 all day. But if you have a 9 subgrade on it, that is no longer under Beckett standards a gem mint card. right? And here's why: unfair, fair, you name it, why I put such a significant premium on a true gem 9.5 or better versus one that has a 9 subgrade. Because the hobby has changed a lot since Beckett developed that grading scale. And the hobby has a lot of younger folks. They have a lot of flippers. We have a lot of people that just want ease. Boom, boom, boom. Netflix, no commercials. Don't try to understand it. 1 to 10. And remember, SGC, 1 to 10. You got your 9.5, sure. You got but no subgrades. CSG came out, they tried to, it looked like, do the Beckett grading scale with subgrades and half numbers, and they just scrapped it and went to a straight 1 through 10. PSA 1 through 10. And people love it. There's an ease of use to it, right? It's a 10 or it's a 9. And unfortunately, the way that what's up, AG? How you doing? Came on YouTube to get ice cream recipes, and here we are. I'm gonna finish my Beckett point, AG. I hope you stay on. Because I'm only going to be quick. I'm only going to be like a half hour, I promise. I just testing out the live to see if I can do this. But I hope you find your recipes. And I've never seen anybody put banana pudding and whatever it is and make it into an ice cream the way I'm watching it. I'm glued to it. Love the content. Keep making random cakes and whatnot into ice cream. I love it. I can't eat it. I'm already a blimp. And I don't exercise, but your stuff is amazing. And here you are coming on to get ice cream recipes. So I love it. But so on the Beckett thing, basically to put a boom, like an exclamation point on it, a quad gem by Beckett standards should be a PSA 10. It's not priced like a PSA 10, but it is what Beckett is saying is that card is their equivalent to a gem mint PSA 10 card. But if they have a 9 on it, what the hobby says is that's a 9. Is that fair? No, it's just not. But that's the way that it is. People are going to price those min gem cards as if they're PSA 9s. So there's a huge difference. Even the quad 9.5s don't sell for what a PSA 10 is. And with this, the discussion we're having now, it really does dovetail into what Beckett is planning on doing with their grading scale. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Very interesting to see what they do. I don't know what they're doing. I know they've had focus groups. I know they've had all kinds of surveys and groups, and they're being mindful about what decision they make on it. I know I was involved in those groups. I could probably list a ton of people who were in those groups. We're all, all walks of the hobby, people from overseas, you name it. I hope that they take the whole hobby's opinion into account, because I think it's just a matter of kind of educating and explaining what their grading scale is and what it means. Let's see. Lauren Rizzo Schaefer, thank you. Obviously, you could reach out to Something Sports Cards. Anything he does as far as diversity goes, let's try to support that as well. Is it a fireplace behind me? It is a fireplace behind me. This is my living room. Pictures of my kids in the background. Can't really get too crazy here. Just, come home from work. Figured, all right, let me get on here and talk to the crew and see if I could do a live and just, a quick, I've only been doing like 25-minute episodes. So I just wanted to see if I could do this. Next time I'll actually put people on notice. This is like, anybody who happens to come into to YouTube today. Jay Giuliano, have you found it difficult to stay up to date with items offered across the many different auctions? And if auction volume increases, will collectors become exhausted in trying to navigate auctions? Jay, it's a great question. And I have a feeling that the consolidation that's come to the hobby will soon come to auction houses, platforms, and you name it. I have a great tool. They don't sponsor me or anything like that. If you're a listener to the show, you know this. So a couple things you can utilize, right? One, auctionreport.com. Auctionreport.com. If you scroll down to the bottom of it, it's a great web page, has a lot of advertisers and stuff on it, but on the bottom, it's got an auction calendar. And it tells you what auctions are ending on what days. So you can kind of bookmark, okay, this is ending this day, this is ending that day. You can go in early, save your stuff, look for your cards. If you happen to be, I'm showing off. It's a YouTube live. I'm going to show off. If you happen to be a Kaboom collector, Kaboom, you can find your 2014 Panini Excalibur LeBron James Kaboom in PSA 10 Pop 1. I like the back of this one. Check that out. Pretty cool, right? That's the only Kaboom I own. But you can go and search, save it, and not miss it. That and the Market Movers, they have if you search for a certain card, it'll tell you if it's up for auction or similar ones up for auction. But Jay, there's no fix to it. There's a lot of cards out there for auction. Golden has like 8 different auctions running at the same time right now. You know, the Montana auction, the Elite auction, the weekly auction, the non-sport auction, the Golden 100. Then you got a PWCC, you know, vintage auction. You got you know, the regular Premier. You got the weekly auctions. You got all liquid auctions. Heritage has auctions ending. I feel your pain. There's definitely a lot of stuff, and things will fall through the cracks. Then you got just every day on eBay. You know, Probstein's running more auctions than anybody. You know, PC Sports Cards, who we'll have on next week as a guest episode, consigner as well. Crazy. They run a lot of stuff on you know, for consignment also. So I feel you, Jay. Those are a couple of little, you know, things that I try to utilize. But yeah, there's a lot of auctions out there, and things will fall through the cracks. It's a great question. Charles, here's a question. Rather have a BGS 9.5 or a PSA 9, but no PSA 10 exists. For example, that Shaq PMG was the case. That Shaq PMG, that's a good question. I probably would rather have a PSA 9 than a BGS 9.5 Min Gem, Charles, on that card. And really, the reason for it is, oh man, I ducked the card down. I'm going to try to make you see what it looks like. These PMG reds look really nice in a PSA slab. The red, white, it just looks nicer than this. That's kind of OCD of me, but I think these PMGs look nicer in a PSA slab. That's really the only reason why. But you know, 959, they're kind of similar. You know, if it were a True Gem 9.5 or better, I go with the True Gem 9.5 over a PSA 9. Do I wear pants in the summer? I am not wearing pants right now, Truce Rock. These are some interesting questions. You want to know my shoe size and my pants? I wear pants in the summer when I go to work. I got to wear a suit when I go to my office every day. But when I come home, like right now, I'm wearing basketball shorts. You know, my son's outside playing wiffle ball. I probably should be playing with him instead of talking to you nice folks. But I wonder how easy the quad 9.5 would be to cross the PSA 10. Carlo, probably not that easy. And, you know, what's interesting about it is it would probably be easier to cross it as a raw card if it's really a true gem card than to cross BGS 9.5 into a PSA 10. But that is because I do believe that there are battle lines drawn. And I think that you don't, once a card comes in that's in a BGS slab to PSA, I think PSA says, all right, well, we're better than them. So just because they think it's a 9.5 doesn't mean that it's we should just cross it over to a 10. I really do think that it's almost like a human nature type thing. But if it really is a true gem card and you're willing to crack it out and send it in raw, and it is that true gem card, I think you have a better chance of it going to PSA 10. Crossovers, I think the percentage is in single digits. What's up, Tracy? Good evening. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms in your life as well. Lauren Rizzo Schaefer. It is a very pleasant surprise. I'm happy you're here. You support everything we do, Lauren. I appreciate you. You were at actual lives where I was in person live, and now you're on the live. So thank you. Cage wears size 15 shoes. If anyone missed it, yes, AG. I'm a little behind on the comments. It looks like maybe a couple of minutes behind here. Where's Andrew? What happened? Why no response? Long-time listener. Why no response to what? Jared, if you need a response, blame me. There is no real reason for it other than to say that, things come to an end. It's kind of what I have responded to everybody who's asked the question on that. There is no big story behind it. I wish I could give you some major, Vanderpump Rules type finale for you, but it was not me. I did not cheat with Raquel. I don't have that kind of finale for you. I apologize. It just, things run their course. And if you need to blame somebody, go ahead and blame me, Jared. I apologize. Cage, you said LeBron Kaboom was a pop 1. Yes, it is a pop 1. There is only one PSA 10. At least when I bought it, Jordan, there was only one PSA 10. He lives in an igloo. Yeah. Wow, really? Who is Truce Rock and why is he so weird? Listen, we welcome everybody here. It's the diversity of the hobby. Manny, there you are. Guys, go check out Too Thick if you haven't already. Have you ever seen a grown man naked? Don't forget the movie quotes from time to time, Cage. Yes, Chevy Chase. Love it. Love it. Have you ever seen a crisp $50 bill? Carlo, of course, man. Rage 508, Cards and Grails. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Bowman Prospect Pick of the Week. I don't know, man. Half of me wants to just say a name like Jordan Walker, but I can't because he was sent down and he's miserable. Obviously, if you're opening Bowman now, the card you're looking for is Drew Jones, right? I mean, everybody's looking for Drew Jones. We opened some Bowman. We didn't get one. We got an auto in a Bowman Blaster, which is like impossible. Ian opened for today's Friday opening. He opened a big league Blaster looking for Jeff Wilson cards. But we did not get a Jeff Wilson. He got an auto in a big league Blaster. It was Sonny Gray, though, which kind of crappy. Conspiracy theory from Charles Fuchs. I'm going to read this comment just because it's funny. We got a lot of people in here now. I think 50% of all PSA 10s are really BGS 9s. Some of the old ones, maybe. Some of the old ones. Do I feel comfortable in shorts? Interesting. Yeah, I Maddie 23. Am I looking at more sports memorabilia? Worn jerseys, bats. I was last year, Maddie. But I'm going to tell you, I've steered clear of it just because I haven't researched it enough. And I know it's one of those things where, like, I really want to dive headfirst in and buy a bat or buy a jersey or buy something. But there's a lot more nuance to it. With cards, you know what you're getting, right? It's in a PSA slab. It's a 53 tops mantle. It's a PMG. It's a this. You know what it is. You have a price history. You have the whole deal. With bats and jerseys, photo matching is huge. Matching it to specific games, matching it to specific events, to stories is huge. Bats, if you look, I would tell you, if you have a free half an hour before you buy a bat, go look at the PSA certifications on the game used bats and look what it means to have a game used designation 6, 7, 8, 8.5, 9. Look at what the differences are, because it's not condition. A game used 10 is not like a PSA 10 where it's like in perfect shape. Right? You want more game use on it. Game use 10 doesn't have to do with the condition of the bat. It has to do with the markings of use that they can show that it was used by that player. There are some GU game use designations lower down in the scale where it could be used by another player. You know, it could be potentially used by that player and still have a GU game use designation. The more I researched it, the more I was hesitant to actually get in and commit money to it. I hope that doesn't scare you away, Maddie. It's more of just, I haven't found the time to do the hours and hours and hours of research I would have to do to be comfortable enough to start sinking real money into that space. So that's it's kind of where I would go with that one. Just joined the live video, hearing Naked Man wasn't what I expected. Well, listen, you never know what you're going to get in these videos. I hate sticker autos. Truce Rock, you come to every live. I'll give you advance notice. Send me a DM. I'll make sure I'm following you. I love it. Save the LeBron Kaboom. I'm going to have to show it again. So here's the LeBron Kaboom for you guys. It's a nice one. It's a nice LeBron Kaboom. That one's not on the sell list. I got some cool stuff here, guys. I really do. You show that one there. Here's a LeBron pristine 10 rookie Topps Chrome refractor. Pretty nice. You can't, the glare takes away, obviously, some of the beauty there, but that's good. Truce Rock, I have had several cavities. But I'm getting another one now because I'm sweet on you. Here is my Babe Ruth. There you go. 33 Gowdy. Nice. Yellow, number 53. 4.5. These are all cards that I just got sent to me. What's my biggest hockey card? Today I got a pack of Hockey Day America 2023. Whatever card I get in there is going to be my biggest hockey card. I do not have a hockey card in my coffin card list. I don't think I have any hockey card. I might have some random Wayne Gretzky's from, oddball openings. I don't really have much in the way of that. What was the first card I ever owned? I sold my LaMelo Gold Panini NFT, Mike to God. I sold almost all my golds. I got good money for the John Morant 1 of 1. I'll tell you that much. First card I ever owned. Woo! I bought packs of 1986 Topps as a 9-year-old. Truce Rock. I remember opening 86 Topps. I then immediately tried to put together a 1985 Topps set. And I remember putting that 792 card set together. The last card I needed was Len Sakata. That made the set. Go check a look at that. He's not a handsome guy. He was in the Orioles. It's weird. He's got kind of goggly glasses on. But I remember putting that set together, and that was the one card that I needed to complete it. Time for one more question. We're hitting that half-hour mark. Funny question. I have a PSA Spider-Man PMG, PSA 9 Pop 6, none higher. The only one old PSA slab. No other exists. Should I re-slab it? I would say, depending on what the, what it actually sells for, I don't know what the market is on that. But if it's a, 4-figure card, probably people like the new slabs. I have, so one last show here, right? So I have this really cool, here's the Manning, guys, that I talked about. The Manning card that I talked about in episode 7. This is the row 0, numbered out of 100. This is it. Pop 1 in PSA 10. Rookie, Flair Legacy, old label. People look at that, they'd rather have a new label. They just would. That's just the way it is now. I kind of like some old labels on old cards. I have some 33 Gaudy, like the Lou Gehrig. That was one of the first cards I bought when I had my first paycheck. I like that it's in an old label. If I'm never selling it, I don't care. I leave it in the old label. It's Sunday. Chick-fil-A is closed. What's the go-to dinner? I'm smarter than that, Manny. About a half hour ago, I ordered Chick-fil-A, enough to hold me over for 4 days. So Sunday, Chick-fil-A is closed. I just reheat mine. And on that, you're never going to get any better hobby advice than that. Guys, I thank the 50 or so of you that joined here. Next time, we'll actually let people know. This was kind of like a guerrilla event here. I just said, I'm going to go live, and we'll see who comes in and joins. Mike the God, Manny, Truce Rock. I don't know who the heck you are, but wow, you are fun. Come in anytime. Uber Collector, thanks for bringing some movie quotes in. Maddie23, Mr. Jordan and Goat, Jordan Riker, Jay Giuliano. Thanks everybody who asked questions. I appreciate it. That's another episode of The Hobby with Cage. We said we're going to bring back Coffee with Cage. Next time we'll do it a little more prepared. We'll have some questions ahead of time, and you guys will actually know when I'm coming on. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.